there's a storm behind me? It's been storming for 3 days now, and it's getting stronger and stronger. You might say, well, it's nothing special, it's normal, just the weather, that's how it is. But no, my friends, we've reached a year like no other, and that's 2025. And today is the 22nd, September 22nd, 2025, and we've come to a point where it's clear that everything that's happening, including the weather, is all being done by human hands. Whether it's computer brains or not, we don't know. When the internet started in 2015, that's when it was just beginning in Russia. I mean, it already existed elsewhere, but Russia is always behind, right? So when the internet was starting in 2015, then 2016, then 2017, just look at the videos bloggers were making during that time. Many started talking about geoweapons. What geoweapons? Others were outraged. Yeah, sleepy residents with sausage in their mouths and a beer in their hand, they were outraged. But that's a common thing, right? To stuff a person's life with sausage and beer. So back then, people were outraged and mocked those bloggers who talked about geoweapons, saying they were crazy. But even then, it was already clear. And I told my own story from 1995, when the school where my children studied bought clouds to make it snow. Otherwise, all the parents wanted to take their children out of a school where there was no snow. But you don't understand that, while others do. You discuss and judge rich people just because they're smarter than you. That's basically what it comes down to. Not because they're rude or ruin you or take something from you, but because they're smarter than you. So, these smart people have long been ordering natural weather for themselves. You think it's natural weather, but in fact they're just buying it. That's what they want, and they know they can do it. Today we've come to another point. Besides the fact that they show us volcanic eruptions whenever it's needed. And now earthquakes are as easy as 2 plus 2. When it was needed in Armenia, they made it happen. When Armenia bravely stood up, they quickly showed her exactly who was truly in charge here. Just one devastating earthquake, and that was absolutely it. Completely gone, vanished without a trace. And what happened? What happened to the whole world then? Everyone just gasped and started gathering things for Armenia, humanitarian aid. But no one realized that this was an artificial situation. And what do you think? Our people in Russia didn't know about this. And at that time, it was 1989, I was talking and standing at a big reception at the World Council of Churches. It was in Geneva. We were standing with Metropolitan Pitirim, and I said, Konstantin Vladimirovich, why did this happen to them? I keep thinking about some kind of mysticism, some kind of mystification. And he calmly and thoughtfully replied to me, Anya, for absolutely nothing at all. Why do you ask? And that truly made me pause and think deeply. And he was right. He personally told me this story back in the year 1989. I wonder, why did he tell me this particular detail? Yes, because Armenia stood up, and that's it. Armenia's back was broken then, and Armenia will never rise again. No matter how much you hope for the Armenians. Yes, smart Armenians. And the smart Armenians ran away at that time. They fled Armenia because it was clear that they would not allow this country to live normally. Armenia! What do we have today? Wherever it is needed, everywhere it is arranged, then the volcano Etna suddenly begins to pour out its bloody lava, right? Then there will be some other earthquakes, and then suddenly a tsunami. Tsunami swept across the world. There will be more than one tsunami. More than one tsunami will pass, but many more tsunamis will occur because someone needs it. Because, well, not people like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just the voice, this joker who voices things, especially since we constantly see his replica. We don't even see the actual suit, but rather a replica which is made one way or another. He already exists in several forms. I think I've already seen Donald Trump in about 5 or 6 different forms. And what you see, that's up to you. Everyone has their own eyes. So, what I want to tell you about geoweapons is this. Geoweapons have always existed. As soon as we realized that we were born on this earth, we should have known that geoweapons exist and that they are in the hands of the ruling elite. The ruling elite controls us like a flock of sheep. We are a flock of sheep because we really don't want anything at all. We just keep bleating and bleating and bleating. Take Gerasim and Mumu, for example. You are told this story about a lady who wanted something, and Gerasim went and drowned his beloved puppy Mumu. And that's how we live today with our neighbors. We fight because someone else wanted it. But you don't want to go, but you fight. You go. You kill each other. You go where you know for sure you'll be ground up like meat. But you still do it. Because that's the nature of the people. Really? Of many peoples. And even a person on their own often doesn't want to know much. Why, they ask? You know, there's a saying, the less you know, the better you sleep. No, that's not true. You're just a fool when you know less. You're just a zombie when you don't want to think. And now, in the beautiful country of Albania, just the day before yesterday, they officially appointed a new minister, a truly wonderful and exceptionally beautiful woman, elegantly dressed in a traditional national costume, and they proudly showed her to everyone. She's the minister. She came out on stage and said, "I'm your minister." And that's it. I absolutely do not need to eat. I certainly do not need to sleep. I definitely do not need to go to the bathroom. I truly do not need to steal. I genuinely do not need to rob you. I will meticulously perform the essential role of minister exactly as the program is precisely set to ensure your continued your very livelihood, right? She will stand up for you and fulfill her role as minister. Of course, you'll say, that's impossible, that's impossible. Many people say, well, this is probably fake. But no, friends, this is not fake. And Russian television has already reported on this. But whether you condemn it or not, this is just the first piece of information being introduced to you. You need to understand that a minister who is artificial intelligence doesn't need anything. He won't rob you. That's the main point. That's what they're instilling in people right now. Well, if you think that's exactly how it will be, at some stage it will be like that. But then those who are behind the scenes will use these ministers to funnel money, resources, and funds into their own pockets. That's already a higher level of mastery, meaning for those who are higher up, many officials won't be able to handle it because they're just the same sheep from Toll's flock who just managed to jump a little higher, like a frog. There was some singer who sang for us, remember? About how the frogs are in the swamp and one is sitting on a mound. So when a minister is sitting on a mound, he thinks he's some kind of saint and that he can do a lot. Just look at how they used to live, how much they stole. And you felt resentful. Of course, it was upsetting. It was really upsetting. But today you'll have an artificial minister. A minister, artificial intelligence. They've created the first person. This is a precedent. Albania is a small country. This is a precedent. They're watching to see if people will get outraged now, to see how people will behave. For now, they won't do anything. They've just given this to the people to see how they'll react. And if people react calmly, then in other countries, especially small ones, this will be introduced instantly, only in small countries for now. And after that, I don't know, friends.